Good Karma Brands radio station.
Getting to know your friends and neighbors, this is Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And good morning. Welcome to Hometown Today, presented by Professional Floor Covering here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. And it's also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam. Happy Wednesday to you. Yes, Wednesday. We are halfway through the week, and it looks like Mother Nature is going to finally start showing her hand and reminding us that, yes, indeed, it is just about winter. A winter weather advisory going to be in effect tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. until noon. Right now, looking at maybe 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inches of that wet snow. So keep on the lookout for that. Make your plans accordingly. And, of course, you can check those latest conditions. And if that weather causes some cancellations, delays, closings, you can get that information on our weather and closings page on DailyDodge.com, presented by Surefire. I want to say thanks again to John and Linda Smeedema, who joined us yesterday on the program from Beaver Dam Loaves and Fishes. Got to learn a lot about the program, some great work that they're doing over there. And last night was actually a dinner night. They did serve last night, and I got a note from them that they served 780 meals last night. 780. Think about that. That is a lot of meals, so great work they're doing over there. Also a reminder about that event they were talking about yesterday. The Second Harvest Food Insecurity Forum is coming up December 3rd at 6:15 in the evening at First Lutheran Church. A representative from Second Harvest will be present, will be there and presenting information on food insecurity in Dodge County. And that is a meal night as well, so you'll be able to come out for the meal. And then at 6:15, the presentation will start. That'll take about 30 minutes, and then they'll leave about 30 minutes or so for questions, comments, all that kind of stuff. So put that on your calendar as well. Also, want to invite you out to a community impact night at Pizza Ranch in Waupun, coming up this coming Monday, November 25th, from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. That's at 900 West Main Street in Waupun. And the community impact night, a portion of the proceeds are going to benefit the Marsh Haven Nature Center and the Good Karma Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon. So again, that's Monday, 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. at the Pizza Ranch in Waupun. Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, the store for your floor and so much more. Stop in there and get your home ready for the holidays. They've got a great selection of in-stock carpet and LVP flooring on sale right now. Plus, when you upgrade your countertops with Professional Floor Covering, you'll receive a free kitchen sink. They've got 3 stainless steel styles to choose from. So stop into the showroom, see their quality selections of flooring, countertops, showers, blinds, and more. They do free in-home measurements and a free quote there at 713 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam or online at PROFLR.com. We'll be back with more Hometown Today next on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Hey, this is Randy from Professional Floor Covering, welcoming you back to Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And welcome back to Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam. Happy to have our first guest with us here this morning. We are joined by Bret Jaeger with the Waupun Public Library. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Kale. Yeah, when I was first invited, it's like, wow, this is a first, and I've been doing this library gig for a very long time.
That's very good. Well, we're happy to have you here. Glad you could take some time out of your morning and join us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the Waupun Library and a little bit of its history.
Yeah, the library in Waupun, there's always been some sort of library since 1858. It used to be called the Waupun Library Association. And then over the years, of course, it just expanded, and then Carnegie got involved. There's a Carnegie Library, which is now the Historical Society's museum. 1968, the city built a cube of a library, so 2 stories, look like a cube. My first day on the job in 97, we broke ground for just a 1-story addition. So it just kind of pushed out. We had to meet ADA requirements, put in an elevator, ADA restrooms, and then I was told at the next library board meeting that I need to start planning for a 2nd floor addition 10 years down the road. And lo and behold, and the financing with the city came through. There were 2 other city projects, the garage and the safety building, and we were one of those 3. And yeah, financing went through, and in 2008, we started to put the 2nd floor on that initial, that first floor addition, and I think I'm through with large projects for now. So, but it's a good thing my dad was a building contractor, because at least I knew how to read blueprints and understand subcontractors and what they do. So I mean, it was exciting to me because I really missed that. But yeah, so those are the big projects for our library. Yeah, and it's a far cry from 97 when I first started, just with materials, technology. So every library goes through the same thing. So.
Yes, so you mentioned, obviously, you've been there a number of years now. Talk a little bit about your background and your history.
My background, well, I always joke to people saying, my background starts in Old Ashippun, Wisconsin. Some people don't know where that is. Southern Dodge County. Yep. I went to high school in Oconomowoc, went to Ripon College, had an interview at the Smithsonian summer of '84.
Really?
In the music area of the National Museum of American History. So I was there with my 3-piece suit and hard briefcase. After the interview, I knew that the '84 Olympic athletes were at the White House. So my friend Tom, who from Minneapolis, drove out there with me because I didn't want to go by myself. So here I am in a 3-piece suit and a briefcase. He's wearing his cutoff jeans, like a muscle T-shirt and a tank top and a backpack. We're running towards the White House. I'm thinking if we do that now, we'd be tackled by
probably
security.
Fair enough.
So we get up there. Yes, the athletes were there. There was the White House, the athletes, but then they put up all of these temporary bleachers for media. So the public, everyone's lined up, outside the security fence. We couldn't see the athletes. So, But anyway, that I really wanted to work in museum. So took a year off, then went to University of Denver. They had a public history master's degree. I get there to register. The lady said they just canceled the program 2 days before. And this is before cell phones or anything, so I had no idea. So I walk back out to my car. I look at it. It's full of stuff. I walk back in. It's like, can I do anything else? And she said, well, your basic American history master's degree. So I said, fine, sign me up. And so I stayed out there. I was just working on that. Got a job at the music library because in Oconomowoc I was part of the band, which is a really good music program still in Oconomowoc. So I found out that if you work full-time at the university, you get a 5-credit tuition waiver. All my classes were 5 credit. So it's like, and I did get the job. And so I had to finish out part-time and work full-time. But then everyone was holding on. There were no museum jobs anywhere. I was finding that out. Thought about going on to a PhD. They couldn't find jobs. My boss at the music library, Suzanne, she uttered those fateful words, go to library school. You won't get rich, but you'll keep your bills paid. she laughed about that for years. It's like we should have that on a plaque somewhere. So I bounced back to Madison for library school, and then I tried to get back to Denver, where a lot of my friends were working some of those libraries there. Went to Meeker, Colorado, Northwest Colorado, 2,000 people, and worked out there for 7 years as the library director. Met my wife out there. Her dad still lives in Little Meeker, and we were trying to find her a teaching job, and they had 2 art teaching openings at Waupun. We found out after I applied at Waupun, thinking, I know where that is. It's near my parents. Maybe if they do interviews, I can, we can drive back. And they only had 1 granddaughter at the time, and it's like, this would be perfect timing. Well, and so I interviewed. They offered me the job. They weren't interviewing at the high school yet. So my first day on the job, my wife was being interviewed. She didn't get the job. So that's a chance you take. I was, we were looking for a job for her, and so she actually works here at the I still call it the Beaver Dam Hospital because now it's
Marshfield.
She's been there for over 25 years in admissions. So when you walk in, like to the emergency room or urgent care, she's probably one of the people you'll be talking with on weekends.
Okay,
so,
very good.
So that's. I never thought I'd end up in Waupun ever. We want to stay in the mountains, but life just takes you different directions, I guess. My parents loved it because that were they were now right, but my my wife's parents were still a 2-day drive to Northwest Colorado. So, but that's how I ended up here. So.
I love that you went to Madison to library school because that sounds like something out of a fantasy book, a library school.
Yeah, it was actually called, at the time, they changed their name to the I-School, the Information School now, but it was the School of Library and Information Studies, SLIS. So everybody called us Slissies, and when I played on the Badger Lacrosse Club, because I could still play even though I played at Ripon, and it's a club sport, so anyone you can be in graduate school. So many guys from East Coast schools were working on their like MBAs, things like that in Madison. They played too, and that was fun. So it was kind of funny where they thought I was kind of strange being in library school because they were in what I would call high income type tracks for what they want to do for their career. And then the library students, once they found out I actually played a sport, that was really odd because there's not many librarians who play a sport.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you don't usually look at your area librarian and think, yes, lacrosse player.
I know it's just different. I mean, the former police chiefs in Waupun, they just laugh at me, because they also know that I'm now an inactive Civil War reenactor. So
okay.
yes, I pull triggers on guns. It's just what I do. So I'm just a little bit. I don't match the stereotype. I guess.
Yeah. So now you've been here. You've been in Waupun now for almost 30 years, and how are you liking it there? How you love being a part of the community?
It's a great town to raise kids. Our daughter graduated in 2013, went through like the volleyball program. Our son graduated in 2016. He was a track and cross country guy. Great place to raise kids. And we're on the southwest corner, so our backyard is cornfields. I can look out the backyard towards Beaver Dam, and it's you can see deer out there, and nice quiet corner of the city. Very safe city too. Every time some company does surveys like safest cities in Wisconsin, things like that.
Yep.
And Waupun is always listed. So great bunch of department heads that I work with. The staff at the library is great. All the way down to my Monday, Wednesday, Friday coffee at Guth's drive-through. I mean, I've got 2 ladies there. Well, they're young ladies, Katie and Erica, and they see me in line, and they're already getting my stuff ready. So it's so cool just to pull up and, I guess I'm known to some people, but not known to other people.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Don't you love that about that small town living? You can pull up and they already know your coffee order.
Yeah.
You don't get that in the big cities.
Yeah. I mean, if I get another vehicle, they'd have to get used to the new vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. Have to figure out which car you were driving. You might have to just start like borrowing people's cars just to throw them off and test them a little bit.
Yeah. But when I first started, think of technology. It just, internet was very young. Actually, my library in Meeker had more technology than the Waupun Library. Felt like I was going backwards, and it's like, oh boy, we have a lot of work to do. And so we tried to stay as much as we can on the cutting edge. So back when there wasn't much technology, now we are filled with technology. Streaming has, taken over from a lot of CDs, even though we still circulate a lot of movies on DVDs, audiobooks on CD. So people still have CD players, but the streaming and then databases like Hoopla. Hoopla is where you can go on and get the latest, bestseller on, and you can get them on audiobooks. And I'm not sure if the Beaver Dam Library has it. It wouldn't. They probably do. It's just it's something really popular. But so many of the electronic resources, they just keep expanding. And of course, people say, "Well, we don't need the public library then." I remember going to a Lions Club meeting, one of my first ones, and that was one of the questions. Well, we now have this thing called the internet, so do we really need libraries? And inside my head, I was just shaking my head. It's like, okay, but yeah. So you'd think that maybe it would have an impact, but no. I mean, the library is more than just books. I mean, we have meeting rooms that all kinds of groups use. We have the programming really accelerated through COVID. First we were trying to do like take and makes. In other words, these craft kits, and then people could pick them up because we were closed for a while. Then when we reopened, everyone's following the masking protocols, things like that. But we still do a lot of crafting programs, whether the flower arrangements, wood flowers, ornaments. We have movie nights as another program now. But there's so much programming in a library, and multiple people actually handle certain parts of the program, which is awesome. But when I first started, we didn't really have programs except for story time. That was what we had. But now we have Lego clubs every week, Toddler Tuesday, which toddlers can show up for 2 hours in the morning. And we have a lot of sensory things. We have these colored pads. I don't know how to explain it. Very thin, clear pads with looks like colored water. You step on it and just, shoots all kinds of designs, and little kids are just staring at it. Yeah. That's pretty fun. Things they can put their hands in, and it just feels different.
We're chatting with Bret Jaeger?
Jaeger.
Bret Jaeger with Waupun Public Library. We'll visit a little more with him when we come back on Hometown Today from 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Professional Floor Covering, making sure you don't miss what's happening in your hometown. It's Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And welcome back to Hometown Today, presented by Professional Floor Covering on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam. Make sure to head down there and check out their Lazy Boy Black Friday sale going on now through November 30th. Sit back, relax, and get cozy with recliners starting at $399. Sofas from $1,099. And they've got over 150 Lazy Boy recliners in stock to choose from, ready for delivery. And if you're looking for a really nice Christmas gift, that's a good one. If you have somebody in your life that really just loves a good chair, Lazy Boy recliners make a great gift. They do offer no interest financing until May. And, of course, as always, delivery is free. It's the Lazy Boy Black Friday sale at McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam, where customers matter and quality counts. We are visiting with Bret Jaeger from Waupun Public Library. We got to chat a little bit about the history of the library and your history, and we started to talk a little bit about what the library has to offer. You made a good point earlier. Libraries are so much more than just a building full of books. Obviously, that's a big important part of it. But talk about some of the programs and services you have to offer at Waupun Public Library.
Some of the online databases that are very popular. Of course, Ancestry. Everybody is trying to track their ancestors, and they do have a library edition. We've had that for years. Very popular among people. We have another online resource, and it's through our library system. Now we're part of the Monarch Library System, which is actually Dodge County, Washington County, Ozaukee, and Sheboygan counties. So when you search something in our database, it searches all the libraries in all those counties, including the large libraries of Sheboygan and West Bend. Part of what we do, we also cooperatively purchase online databases, and so we have transparent language, which is if you want to learn, you're going to France. Well, you can log in with your library card, and you can take French courses, so you can learn how to speak French. Waupun actually has a Japanese sister city, so the kids go back and forth. So they just had a group come over in September, and if anybody would like to just know basic Japanese, they can go on to our transparent language database and sign up for classes, and they're free as long as you have your library card, and learn to speak just some basic phrases in Japanese, which is really appreciated by some of them. And then something called Universal Classes, which could be if you'd like to brush up on your accounting skills, even for your home budget. You can sign up for Universal Classes, and it covers all kinds of different subjects. And that's a great opportunity. Just if you're trying to get if you move up within your organization and you need some kind of skill, look at the Universal Class list and see, is there a class there that will help me move up within my company. So that's another great online resource. But I'd say Ancestry, that is just popular everywhere.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You guys, you've also got a project going on over there right now. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. We've always found out that on the second floor, there's no quiet area. If you've been in the library, it's 1960s architecture, which back then, they really loved to keep these big open spaces so you can look down from the second floor to a ground floor. The Fond du Lac Public Library had that too. Years ago, they actually moved their library into an old grocery store and filled in all that floor space because it is kind of wasted space. But for us, it wasn't worth the cost. It was So there's no quiet area on the second floor, and it's like we really need something. And so the board approved looking for a study pod. The KI company out of Green Bay call it a wiggle room. I don't really like the name. It sounds like it's where you put young kids who are misbehaving. It's the wiggle room. But it's totally enclosed. It's got glass walls on it and a sliding door that you can't slam open or slam shut. It's got some kind of a braking system. My assistant director and we went up to KI in Green Bay at their training center to see one of these pods last spring. And I tried slamming the door open and closed. You can't do it, which is awesome. I was thinking, where was this when my kids were growing up in the house?
Right.
but it's got a ceiling, and so when you open the door and walk in, the lights automatically come on, and a ventilation system kicks in. So right now, they're waiting for a few electrical parts that weren't in the box, I guess. And so after Thanksgiving, we're hoping to have it in working order. We just had we hooked it up to the fire sprinkler system, so we have a sprinkler head in there, just for safety, and so that's done. And yeah, it's just a matter of some electrical connections, get power to it, and then put in a small table, 2 feet by 6 feet, 4 chairs, and that way, if you want to study or you just want to, go somewhere where you don't hear the noise. Not that there's a whole lot of noise in the library,
Sure.
but if you just want to go somewhere quiet, and that way it's pretty much, people can sign up for it, reserve it. And yeah, so we're looking forward to it. But yes, it's made by the KI company in Green Bay, and it's called a Wiggle Room is one word. So they make them in different sizes. I guess the popular ones look like a phone booth.
Really?
And you'll find them in in prisons when an inmate might want to talk to their lawyer or a family member.
Sure.
Or in companies where they rent a flat of a building where it's just wide open and there's really no quiet place. Well, they put these on these flats for these companies, so that if you need to make a phone call and you don't want anybody to hear, or if you don't want the noise, you just walk in this booth, really.
Yeah.
And it's like an old phone booth. And I don't even know if the high school kids who work at our library even know what a phone booth is.
Yeah, exactly.
So technology sure has changed. We used to have a payphone in the library when I started.
Oh my goodness.
I bring that up, and the high school kids like, a what?
A what?
Yeah.
What else? Anything else we're forgetting to chat about at Waupun Public Library? We pretty much cover our bases.
One of the neat things at our library too, we have on the second floor, we partner with Waupun Fine Arts, and so they rotate artists. And,
okay.
They call it the Fine Arts Gallery, and right now in November it is Stephen Curtis. And then so people can go up there, and they have 3 specific walls that they can control, and they can change out the artwork. And the artist that lives on the west side of Beaver Dam Lake, why I can't remember his name. He's a popular guy. He had a display a few months ago at the library. I can picture him. I can't remember his name.
Okay,
but
there's a couple talented artists here.
So that's really nice. Where that changes over as well on the second floor, that people can walk around. They'll just be looking at things, and so it's not every library has that. And we got that idea from the Fond du Lac Public Library. They have the same. They don't have it on the second floor, but when you walk in on the left side, they have a separate big room just for artists.
Okay, very good. And where can people find the Waupun Public Library, both physically and online?
Yeah, well, physically we're at 123 South 4th Street, and online it's just, you can go to waupunpubliclibrary.org, and it will get you to our website. I always have to smile when I tell people our physical address, because my first year there, the first winter, so we're right across from one of the prisons, the big one with the walls. So I pull in the parking lot where the staff park, and I'm just looking at the wall. It's like, I can hit that with a snowball. So what do? Remember, I was younger. Made a snowball. It's like, threw it. Oh, I had a nice solid hit, and a voice from above in the guard tower. Sir, stop throwing snowballs at the library. Or at the prison. I go in the library. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is that like a state or federal offense? It's like, are the cops going to show up? So every time I think of when somebody asks me for the address, that always pops up in my mind, because that was...
So lesson learned, don't throw snowballs at the walls of the prison.
Do not throw snowballs, because if the guard is paying attention, then they should be. They will actually shout down from above. So...
and what about a Facebook page? You guys are on Facebook?
Yes, we're on Facebook, just Waupun Public Library. That's where most of our events are. So people are always watching that. And if we have different events, we'll post pictures, and we'll also relay other like City of Waupun information if they say, please post on your Facebook page if you can. It seems that's the most popular way of getting the word out for any programs, things like that.
Sure.
So.
All right, very good. Well, that is Bret Jaeger with Waupun Public Library. Bret, great having you in. Great chatting with you a little bit, and we'd love to have you back again.
Yeah,
sometime.
thanks for the invite. So yeah, just let me know.
All right, sounds great. Bret Jaeger with the Waupun Public Library. We'll be back with more Hometown Today here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
ABC News.